What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Roxette, and we're returning to Have a Nice Day, 1999. And the next track is titled simply Cooper, which usually is a name, I think more often a surname, though perhaps it's a given name as well. Given that I was a teen in the 90s, it makes me think of that show, which I never really watched, but I was aware of, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, but I doubt that's the reference here. Either way, I'm expecting this to be a male person's name, but as to what it's about, whether he is the narrator, whether someone else is speaking about him, whether it's a dialogue, or whether it's actually a place name, I obviously will do my best to pick up on a first listen. Let's give it a hearing. This is Roxette, the track is Cooper, and it's from their 1999 album, Have a Nice Day.
Cooper went out late last night. I heard the slam from her door. Foggy waves, November days. All the white wolves were smiling. Cooper went out, walking the clouds. She left everything in a mess. Shut your mouth when you talk to me. Our words were always so small. And there's a sound from the telephone. When can I say she's coming home? Leave me the number you're dialing from. And may I ask who's calling? Cooper went out 3 o'clock sharp. I heard the bells from the church. Someone said they saw a car picking her up by the station. Cooper went out, that's all there is. I'm just no one from next door. Everything will be alright when all the flowers have cried. Then there's a voice on the telephone. When can I say she's coming home? Leave me the number you're dialing from. And may I ask who's calling? Who's
I was like riveted by that song, which is interesting. Like, it doesn't really sound like some of the more, what's the right word, outside their comfort zone, like trying different styles, but it doesn't necessarily sound like vintage Roxette either. It felt very like cinematic, like I was watching a Sonic movie. So it felt sort of unique, even on this album, which has had some different stylings that perhaps they weren't really known for going into the dance realm and electronic sounds. But yeah, this one obviously had a very rich string arrangement, but there were also like bells, like sleigh bells almost, like chimes. There was a sort of what's the right word? Like steady but continual percussive rhythm that felt like we were sort of walking along and hearing about this narrative. First of all, it sounds like Cooper is a woman, not a male, which, again, I was aware that was, I suppose, a possibility, but I was convinced that it would be a male character. But yeah, so it almost felt like a contemporary classical music piece, not like a piece from the Baroque era or the classical era or the Romantic era, but like a composition of the 20th century, and I suppose in this case just barely the 20th century. But yeah, it had a bit of that like modern classical music feel to it, maybe in part because it mixed those rich and lush strings with the sort of, pop / R&B type percussive rhythm. And I enjoyed the narrative. I felt like I was, listening to a case report in a detective show. It's like, okay, so she left, she may have been upset, I heard the door slam, and she left at 3 sharp. Someone saw her getting into a car, maybe by a station, but I don't know when she's coming home. I'm wondering if we're going to get a call from her. And I felt like there was actually a little, like, tonal melody just sort of pulsing that made me think of a, telephone that, there's a, what's the right word, like, your call cannot be completed as dialed, like a sort of a dead end, like dial tone. Excuse me. So yeah, it felt like there was maybe some sonic conceptualization in some of the sounds as it related to the narrative, but it really felt like a mystery. Like, what's happened to her? Will she be coming back home? Is she gonna call? Are people waiting for a call? They're going around and asking other people, and it sounds like the narrator himself is just a sort of everyday person, like a neighbor who just happens to, be adjacent to this story and wondering himself what happened to her. I enjoy Pear's vocal performance. It added to the sense of mystery. He had this, like, storyteller who's keeping things from you, like, strategically as he tells you what's happened. But of course, when Marie comes in a couple times, definitely in a supporting role in this one, but when she comes in, instantly my brain is drawn to the expressive vocal tones that she can provide. So yeah, in the end, I don't quite know if there's any resolution. I don't know if it was clear that, she is coming back. I thought maybe right at the end there was a, like, oh, actually, this is what's going to happen, or she is going to return. But it sounds like more of a question and more, again, of a mystery. So I really enjoyed that. It was like watching a song movie, and I was really, riveted, but with also a lush cinematic score, particularly in the string section playing out behind it. So a really fascinating one. Curious to hear what people have to think. Again, I know there's some people with mixed opinions about this album, and other people who, just don't think it's as good as other work they've done. Some people also perhaps commenting that, over time they've come to appreciate it more. And my favorite thing, when people comment that, going through it in this capacity and sharing it with me and providing insight sometimes makes people, give something a second listen to the point where maybe they can at least appreciate it, if not exactly, turn their opinion around on it entirely more than they did before. So either way, I'm curious to hear what people have to think. Let me know, and I will see you next time. Peace.